Thomas Jefferson's words shaped the soul of a nation, said President John F. Kennedy, praising his enduring legacy. As a founding father, third U.S. president, and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson was a visionary who championed liberty, education, and democracy. His life, spanning diplomacy, invention, and philosophy, left an indelible mark on history. In this video, we explore his 10 most inspiring quotes, each a beacon of wisdom. Join us to discover the timeless insights of this remarkable leader. Quote 1. I cannot live without books. This simple yet profound statement by Thomas Jefferson encapsulates his insatiable thirst for knowledge and underscores the vital role that reading played in his life. As a founding father, author of the Declaration of Independence, and the third President of the United States, Jefferson's intellectual curiosity shaped not only his personal growth but also the ideals of a nation. This quote is significant because it reveals the heart of Jefferson's philosophy, that books are not mere objects but lifelines to wisdom, imagination, and progress. In an era when access to knowledge was limited, Jefferson's declaration serves as a timeless reminder of the transformative power of reading, inspiring generations to embrace learning as a cornerstone of a meaningful life. The depth of Jefferson's words lies in their universal resonance. To say, "I cannot live without books," is to acknowledge that books are more than sources of information. They are companions, teachers, and gateways to new worlds. For Jefferson, a man who amassed a personal library of thousands of volumes, books were the fuel for his relentless pursuit of understanding. They allowed him to explore philosophy, science, law, and history, shaping his vision for a free and enlightened society. This quote reflects his belief that knowledge is not a luxury but a necessity, as essential to the mind as food is to the body. It speaks to the idea that books empower individuals to question, dream, and grow, fostering the intellectual freedom that Jefferson championed throughout his life. His library, which later became the foundation for the Library of Congress, was a testament to his conviction that a well-informed citizenry is the bedrock of democracy. In this sense, the quote is not just a personal confession but a call to value education and critical thinking as pillars of a thriving society. Jefferson's words also carry a deeply emotional weight. The phrase, "cannot live without," suggests a dependence so profound that books are akin to air or water, indispensable for survival. This sentiment resonates with anyone who has ever found solace, inspiration, or purpose in the pages of a book. Whether it's a novel that transports you to another time, a biography that reveals the triumphs and struggles of a hero, or a philosophical treatise that challenges your worldview, books have the power to shape who you are and who you aspire to become. Jefferson's life was a living example of this. His ideas on liberty, equality, and governance were informed by the works of thinkers like John Locke and Montesquieu. His quote invites you to see books not as static objects but as dynamic forces that ignite curiosity, spark innovation, and connect you to the collective wisdom of humanity. It's a reminder that in a world of constant change, books offer a timeless anchor, grounding you in knowledge while propelling you toward new horizons. What lessons can you draw from Jefferson's words in your own life? First, embrace reading as a lifelong habit. You don't need a vast library like Jefferson's to benefit from books. A single page can spark a revelation. Make time to read, even if it's just a few minutes a day, and choose books that challenge your assumptions or broaden your perspective. Whether it's fiction, history, or science, let each book be a stepping stone to growth. Second, see books as tools for empowerment. In today's information-saturated world, the ability to think critically is more important than ever. By reading widely, you equip yourself to navigate complex issues, make informed decisions, and contribute meaningfully to your community. Third, share the gift of knowledge. Just as Jefferson's library became a national treasure, you can inspire others by recommending books, discussing ideas, or supporting literacy initiatives. Encourage those around you to discover the joy of reading, knowing that every book read is a step toward a more enlightened world. Moreover, Jefferson's quote urges you to cultivate intellectual curiosity. Don't limit yourself to one genre or field, explore diverse topics, from art to technology to philosophy. This curiosity will not only enrich your life but also make you more adaptable in a rapidly changing world. If you're facing a challenge, turn to books for guidance. If you're seeking inspiration, let a story or biography light the way. And if you're striving for personal growth, let each book you read be a mirror reflecting your potential. Jefferson's words remind you that books are not just for scholars or elites. They are for anyone willing to open their mind and heart. In a time when distractions abound, choosing to read is an act of rebellion, a commitment to nurturing your intellect over fleeting entertainment. Finally, Jefferson's quote challenges you to see reading as a path to freedom. Knowledge liberates you from ignorance, prejudice, and complacency, empowering you to shape your destiny and advocate for justice. Just as Jefferson used his learning to craft a vision of equality and liberty, you can use books to fuel your dreams and make a difference. Whether you're a student, a professional, or a retiree, let books be your companions on the journey of self-discovery. By embracing Jefferson's love for books, you honor his legacy and contribute to a world where ideas flourish, minds are awakened, and the pursuit of knowledge remains a universal aspiration. So, pick up a book today, and let it remind you that, like Jefferson, you too cannot live without the boundless possibilities that reading unlocks. Quote 2. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. These iconic words, penned by Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence, are among the most powerful ever written, serving as a cornerstone of American ideals and a universal call for justice. This quote is vital because it encapsulates the revolutionary idea that equality is not a privilege to be granted but an inherent truth, challenging oppression and inspiring movements for freedom worldwide. Jefferson's declaration continues to resonate, urging humanity to uphold the principle of equality in every facet of life. The significance of this quote lies in its bold assertion of a universal truth at a time when inequality was entrenched in societies across the globe. Written in 1776, amidst a world of monarchies, slavery, and rigid class systems, Jefferson's words were a radical departure from the status quo. By stating that these truths are self-evident, he implied that the equality of all people is so fundamental that it requires no justification. It is as undeniable as the laws of nature. The phrase, "all men are created equal," was not merely a political statement but a moral one, asserting that every individual, regardless of birth, status, or circumstance, possesses the same intrinsic worth and inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For Jefferson, this idea was the bedrock of a new nation, one founded on the belief that governments derive their legitimacy from the consent of the governed, not from divine right or inherited power. Yet, the quote also carries a poignant irony, as Jefferson himself owned slaves, a contradiction that highlights the gap between the ideal and the reality of his time. This tension makes the quote even more compelling, as it challenges both past and present generations to bridge that gap and live up to its promise. The enduring power of Jefferson's words lies in their ability to transcend their historical context. They are not just about the American Revolution, but about the human struggle for dignity and fairness. The idea that all people are created equal has fueled abolitionist movements, women's suffrage, civil rights campaigns, and global fights against discrimination. It speaks to the heart of what it means to be human, that no one is inherently superior or inferior, and that every person deserves respect and opportunity. Jefferson's words remind us that equality is not a destination but a continuous journey, requiring vigilance and courage to confront systems and attitudes that perpetuate division. They also carry a profound optimism, suggesting that humanity can build a world where this truth is not just declared but lived. In a modern context, the quote challenges us to examine inequalities in wealth, education, race, gender, and opportunity, urging us to dismantle barriers that prevent people from realizing their potential. It is a call to action, not just for governments but for individuals, to recognize the shared humanity in everyone and to act with fairness and compassion. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, embrace the principle of equality in your daily interactions. Treat everyone you meet, whether a colleague, a stranger, or a neighbor, with the same respect and kindness, recognizing their inherent worth. You can challenge prejudice by listening to others' stories, amplifying marginalized voices, and standing against discrimination in any form. Second, educate yourself about the inequalities that persist in your community and beyond. Whether it's advocating for equal access to education, supporting fair workplace policies, or volunteering for causes that uplift the disadvantaged, your actions can help make equality a reality. Third, reflect on your own biases. Jefferson's contradictions remind us that even those who champion great ideals can fall short. You can grow by examining your assumptions and striving to align your actions with the belief that all people deserve equal opportunities. Moreover, this quote inspires you to be an active participant in democracy. Jefferson believed that an equal society requires engaged citizens who hold leaders accountable and contribute to the common good. You can honor this by voting, staying informed, and advocating for policies that promote justice and fairness. On a personal level, pursue your own dreams with the confidence that your worth is equal to anyone else's. Don't let societal barriers or self-doubt hold you back. Claim your right to chase your aspirations, just as you support others in doing the same. Finally, inspire those around you to embrace this truth. Share Jefferson's words with friends, family, or colleagues, sparking conversations about what equality means today. By living out this principle, you contribute to a world where the self-evident truth of human equality is not just a lofty ideal but a tangible reality. Jefferson's quote is a beacon, illuminating the path toward a more just and inclusive society. It reminds you that equality is both a right and a responsibility, calling you to act with courage, empathy, and conviction. As you navigate life's challenges, let these words guide you to build bridges, uplift others, and champion the shared dignity of all. In doing so, you carry forward the revolutionary spirit of Jefferson's vision, making the world a place where every person can truly stand as an equal. Quote 3. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. This provocative statement by Thomas Jefferson, written in a 1787 letter, captures the fierce resolve required to preserve freedom in the face of oppression. Its importance lies in its unflinching acknowledgement that liberty is not a static gift, but a living ideal, demanding sacrifice and vigilance to endure. Jefferson's words, born from the revolutionary fervor of his era, continue to inspire and challenge us to protect the principles of justice and self-governance with unwavering commitment. The quote's vivid metaphor of a tree of liberty suggests that freedom is a living, organic entity, one that requires constant care to thrive. Jefferson, a key architect of the American Revolution, understood that the establishment of a free society was only the beginning. The refreshing of this tree with the blood of patriots and tyrants implies that liberty often comes at a profound cost, requiring both the courage of those who defend it and the defeat of those who seek to suppress it. In Jefferson's time, this imagery resonated deeply. The American colonies had just fought a bloody war to secure independence from British tyranny, and the memory of sacrifice was fresh. Yet, the quote is not a glorification of violence, but a sobering recognition of the stakes involved in maintaining a free society. It reflects Jefferson's belief that liberty is fragile, vulnerable to corruption, complacency, or authoritarianism, and that its preservation may demand bold, even radical action. The inclusion of both patriots and tyrants underscores the dual nature of this struggle. Heroes must rise, and oppressors must fall, for freedom to endure. Beyond its historical context, the quote carries a timeless urgency. It speaks to the eternal tension between liberty and power, a struggle that persists in every era and corner of the world. Jefferson's words remind us that freedom is not guaranteed. It is a flame that can flicker if neglected. The blood, in the metaphor, need not always be literal. It can represent the sweat, tears, and sacrifices of those who fight for justice, whether through revolution, protest, or tireless advocacy. From the abolition of slavery to the civil rights movement, from women's suffrage to modern struggles against authoritarian regimes, history shows that liberty often requires courageous individuals to stand against tyranny, sometimes at great personal cost. Jefferson's quote challenges us to see liberty as a collective responsibility, one that demands active engagement rather than passive acceptance. It is a call to remain vigilant, to question authority, and to defend the rights of all, even when doing so is difficult or dangerous. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, recognize that liberty is a shared responsibility. You can honor the sacrifices of past patriots by actively participating in your community, vote in elections, stay informed about issues, and hold leaders accountable. Your voice, whether through a ballot or a conversation, helps nurture the tree of liberty. Second, stand up against injustice, even when it's uncomfortable. If you witness discrimination, corruption, or abuses of power, speak out, whether in your workplace, school, or social circles. Your courage, however small it may seem, contributes to the collective effort to preserve freedom. Third, educate yourself about the principles of liberty and justice. Read about historical struggles, from the American Revolution to global movements for human rights, to understand the sacrifices that have shaped the freedoms you enjoy. This knowledge will empower you to act with conviction and inspire others to do the same. Additionally, Jefferson's words urge you to embrace resilience. The fight for liberty is not a one-time event but a continuous journey. When you face setbacks, whether personal challenges or societal obstacles, channel the spirit of those patriots who persevered against overwhelming odds. Let their sacrifices remind you that your efforts, no matter how small, are part of a larger tapestry of progress. You can also cultivate the tree of liberty by fostering unity. Tyranny thrives on division, so build bridges with others, even those who hold different views, to strengthen the shared commitment to freedom. Engage in respectful dialogue, seek common ground, and work together to address injustices in your community. Finally, Jefferson's quote inspires you to act with purpose. While the blood of patriots may evoke dramatic images of revolution, your contributions to liberty can take many forms: volunteering for a cause, mentoring others, or simply living with integrity. Every act of kindness, every stand for what is right, helps refresh the tree of liberty. By embracing this responsibility, you become part of a legacy that stretches from Jefferson's time to the present, ensuring that the ideals of freedom and justice endure for future generations. Let his words ignite your passion to protect and nurture liberty, not just for yourself but for all who share in the hope of a freer, fairer world. Quote 4. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. This powerful declaration by Thomas Jefferson is a rallying cry for moral courage, urging individuals to stand against systemic wrongs. Its importance lies in its bold assertion that blind obedience to unjust laws is not a virtue but a betrayal of justice, inspiring generations to challenge oppression with conviction. Jefferson's words, rooted in his revolutionary spirit, remain a timeless call to action, encouraging us to uphold righteousness over conformity. The quote emerges from Jefferson's deep belief in the principles of liberty and justice, forged during the American Revolution when colonists defied British laws they deemed tyrannical. To Jefferson, a law that perpetuates injustice, whether through oppression, discrimination, or denial of fundamental rights, lacks legitimacy, regardless of its legal status. The phrase, "injustice becomes law," paints a stark picture of a system where power is misused to codify unfairness, such as laws that once upheld slavery or denied voting rights. By declaring resistance a duty, Jefferson elevates opposition to such laws from an option to an obligation, suggesting that individuals have a moral responsibility to act when justice is perverted. This idea reflects his broader philosophy that governments exist to serve the people, and when they fail, citizens must reclaim their authority. The quote is both a warning and an empowerment. It cautions against the dangers of complacency while emboldening individuals to see themselves as agents of change. The significance of Jefferson's words extends far beyond his era. They resonate in every struggle against institutionalized injustice, from the abolitionist movement to civil rights campaigns and modern fights for equality. The quote acknowledges a harsh reality: laws, though meant to uphold order, can be twisted to serve the interests of the powerful, marginalizing the vulnerable. Yet, it also offers hope, asserting that resistance, whether through protest, advocacy, or civil disobedience, can dismantle such systems. Jefferson's use of duty implies that this work is not just for heroes or leaders but for every person who values justice. It challenges the notion that legality equals morality, urging us to question authority and act when laws betray the principles of fairness and equality. In doing so, it places the power to shape a just society in the hands of ordinary individuals, making resistance not just a right but a sacred responsibility. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, cultivate the courage to question unjust systems. If you encounter policies or practices, at work, school, or in your community, that harm others or perpetuate inequality, don't remain silent. Speak up, whether by raising concerns with leaders, joining advocacy groups, or educating others about the issue. Your voice can spark change. Second, educate yourself about the laws and systems around you. Understanding the history of struggles, like those against segregation or gender discrimination, equips you to recognize injustice in its modern forms, such as disparities in healthcare or criminal justice. Knowledge empowers you to act with clarity and purpose. Third, embrace resistance as a form of service. You don't need to be a revolutionary to make a difference. Small acts count. Write to policymakers, support organizations fighting for justice, or volunteer to help those affected by unfair systems. Your efforts, combined with others, can shift the tide. Fourth, practice empathy in your resistance. Injustice often harms those already marginalized, so listen to their stories and amplify their voices. By centering the experiences of others, you ensure your actions are grounded in compassion and solidarity. Fifth, stay resilient. Challenging entrenched systems can be daunting, and progress may be slow. Draw inspiration from figures like Martin Luther King Jr. or modern activists who persisted despite setbacks. Your perseverance keeps the flame of justice alive. Finally, Jefferson's quote urges you to align your actions with your conscience. When faced with an unjust law or policy, ask yourself, does this serve fairness and humanity? If not, your duty is to resist, whether through peaceful protest, community organizing, or simply refusing to comply with what your heart knows is wrong. This doesn't mean breaking laws recklessly. Jefferson's own life showed the value of strategic, principled resistance. Instead, it means living with integrity, choosing justice over convenience. By doing so, you honor the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom before you, from the American Revolution to today's global movements. You also contribute to a world where laws reflect the ideals of equality and dignity, not the whims of power. Jefferson's words are a beacon for anyone who believes in justice. They remind you that resistance is not rebellion for its own sake but a duty to humanity, a way to restore balance when systems fail. As you navigate life, let this quote inspire you to stand firm, act boldly, and work tirelessly to ensure that justice, not injustice, becomes the law of the land. In doing so, you carry forward Jefferson's vision of a world where every person's rights are upheld, and the duty to resist becomes a legacy of hope. Quote 5. Honesty is the first chapter in the Book of Wisdom. This profound statement by Thomas Jefferson illuminates the foundational role of truth in personal growth and societal progress. Its importance lies in its timeless assertion that wisdom begins with integrity, a principle that guided Jefferson as a statesman and thinker. This quote inspires us to embrace honesty not only as a moral virtue but as the bedrock of a meaningful and enlightened life, urging us to live authentically in a world often clouded by deception. Jefferson's metaphor of honesty as the first chapter, in the Book of Wisdom, is both elegant and profound. It suggests that wisdom, a deep understanding of life, people, and principles, is not a single achievement but a lifelong journey, like a book with many chapters. By placing honesty at the outset, Jefferson emphasizes that truthfulness is the prerequisite for all other forms of knowledge and growth. Without honesty, both with oneself and others, the pursuit of wisdom is built on a shaky foundation, prone to collapse under the weight of deceit or self-delusion. For Jefferson, a man who navigated the complexities of revolution, governance, and diplomacy, honesty was not just a personal ethic but a public necessity. As the author of the Declaration of Independence, he understood that trust, rooted in truth, was essential for a society to function and for leaders to earn the respect of those they serve. The quote reflects his belief that wisdom, whether in personal decisions or collective endeavors, flows from a commitment to truth, even when it is difficult or inconvenient. The enduring power of this quote lies in its universal applicability. Honesty is the lens through which we see the world clearly, free from the distortions of lies or half-truths. It requires courage to admit mistakes, vulnerability to share one's true thoughts, and strength to uphold integrity in the face of pressure. Jefferson's words remind us that wisdom is not merely about accumulating facts or mastering skills, but about living in alignment with truth. This alignment fosters trust in relationships, clarity in decision-making, and resilience in the face of challenges. In a broader sense, the quote speaks to the health of societies. When honesty is valued, communities thrive on mutual trust, accountability, and shared purpose. Conversely, when deceit prevails, division and distrust erode the fabric of progress. Jefferson's own life, though not without flaws, exemplified his commitment to intellectual honesty, as he sought truth through relentless study and open debate, encouraging others to do the same. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, make honesty your guiding principle. When faced with the choice to bend the truth, whether to avoid conflict, gain an advantage, or protect your ego, choose to speak and act with integrity. This might mean admitting a mistake at work, being upfront about your feelings in a relationship, or standing by your values in a tough situation. Your honesty will build trust and respect, laying the foundation for deeper connections. Second, practice self-honesty. Take time to reflect on your goals, strengths, and weaknesses. Are you living in alignment with your true aspirations? Or are you chasing what others expect? By being truthful with yourself, you gain the clarity needed to make wise decisions and pursue a life of purpose. Third, seek wisdom through honest inquiry. When exploring new ideas or tackling problems, approach them with an open mind, free from preconceptions or biases. Read widely, ask questions, and engage in conversations with people who challenge your views. This intellectual honesty will deepen your understanding and help you grow wiser with each experience. Fourth, foster honesty in your community. Encourage transparency in your workplace, support leaders who prioritize truth, and model integrity for those around you. Your actions can inspire others to value honesty, creating a ripple effect of trust and collaboration. Fifth, embrace the courage that honesty demands. Telling the truth can be daunting, especially when it risks criticism or conflict. Yet, Jefferson's quote reminds you that wisdom begins with this bravery. When you speak truth to power, whether calling out unfair practices or advocating for change, you contribute to a more just world. Finally, recognize that honesty is a journey, not a destination. You may falter at times, but each step toward truth strengthens your character and sharpens your wisdom. Reflect on moments when honesty led to growth, like resolving a misunderstanding or earning someone's trust, and let those experiences fuel your commitment. Jefferson's words are a timeless invitation to live with integrity, to see honesty not as a burden but as the gateway to a wiser, more fulfilling life. They challenge you to build your book of wisdom on a foundation of truth, knowing that each honest choice you make writes a new page in your story. As you navigate life's complexities, let this quote inspire you to speak, act, and live with authenticity, creating a legacy of trust and wisdom that uplifts both yourself and those around you. Quote 6. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Act. Action will delineate and define you. This electrifying call to action by Thomas Jefferson captures the essence of self-discovery through doing rather than pondering. Its importance lies in its empowering message that identity and purpose are not found in introspection alone but forged through bold, purposeful deeds. Jefferson's words, drawn from his life of revolutionary action and leadership, inspire us to embrace movement over hesitation, urging us to shape our lives through the choices we make and the steps we take. The quote's brilliance is in its rejection of passive self-questioning in favor of dynamic self-expression. Jefferson, a man who didn't merely dream of liberty but actively penned the Declaration of Independence, and helped build a nation, understood that true identity emerges through engagement with the world. The phrase, "Don't ask, act," is a direct challenge to those paralyzed by doubt or indecision, suggesting that endless reflection can trap you in a cycle of uncertainty. Instead, Jefferson asserts that action, whether bold or small, reveals your character, values, and potential. The words, "delineate and define," evoke an artist sketching a portrait. Each action you take is a stroke of the brush, gradually forming a clearer picture of who you are. For Jefferson, whose life was marked by writing, governing, inventing, and farming, identity was not a static label but a living process, shaped by what you do in the face of challenges, opportunities, and dreams. This perspective empowers individuals to see themselves as architects of their own essence, crafting their identity through purposeful effort. The quote's timeless relevance lies in its universal applicability. In an age of constant self-analysis, through social media, personality quizzes, or endless finding yourself narratives, Jefferson's words cut through the noise. They remind us that true self-knowledge comes not from external validation or inward brooding but from testing yourself in the arena of life. Whether it's pursuing a passion, standing up for a cause, or tackling a difficult task, your actions reveal your strengths, expose your weaknesses, and clarify your priorities. This idea resonates across contexts. A student discovers resilience by tackling a challenging project. An activist finds purpose in advocating for justice. A parent learns patience through daily care. Jefferson's quote also carries a subtle warning: inaction can define you just as much as action. To remain stagnant is to let fear or doubt shape your identity, while to act is to claim agency over who you become. It's a call to live intentionally, to let your deeds speak louder than your questions. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, embrace action as a path to self-discovery. If you're unsure of your purpose or identity, don't wait for clarity to strike. Take a step forward. Start that project, volunteer for a cause, or try a new skill. Each action will teach you something about yourself, revealing passions or strengths you didn't know you had. Second, act with intention. Before you move, reflect briefly on what matters to you, whether it's creativity, justice, or connection, and let those values guide your choices. Your actions will then align with your deepest aspirations, shaping an identity you're proud of. Third, don't fear failure. Jefferson's own life, filled with both triumphs and setbacks, shows that every action, even a misstep, adds to the portrait of who you are. If a venture doesn't go as planned, learn from it and keep moving. Your resilience will define you more than your mistakes. Fourth, seek diverse experiences. Try new challenges, travel, learn a craft, or engage in community work to uncover hidden facets of yourself. Each experience is a brushstroke, adding depth to your identity. Fifth, inspire others through your actions. Just as Jefferson's deeds inspired a nation, your choices can motivate those around you. Share your journey, celebrate your progress, and encourage friends or family to act on their own dreams. Finally, make action a habit. Small, consistent steps, reading a book, helping a neighbor, or pursuing a hobby, accumulate over time, shaping a rich and authentic identity. Jefferson's quote reminds you that you are not defined by what you think you are but by what you do. So, when doubt creeps in, act. Take that first step, however small, and trust that each move will carve out a clearer sense of who you are. By living this way, you honor Jefferson's legacy of bold action, crafting a life that reflects your truest self and inspires others to do the same. Let his words propel you forward, transforming questions into deeds and dreams into reality, as you delineate and define the person you were meant to be. Quote 7. I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. This visionary statement by Thomas Jefferson radiates optimism and a forward-looking spirit, encapsulating his belief in progress and possibility. Its importance lies in its call to prioritize hope and innovation over dwelling on past triumphs or failures, inspiring us to imagine and build a better tomorrow. Jefferson's words, shaped by his role in founding a new nation, urge us to embrace the potential of what lies ahead, making this quote a timeless beacon for dreamers and doers alike. The quote reflects Jefferson's revolutionary mindset, forged in an era of upheaval and opportunity. As a key architect of the American experiment, he was not content to rest on historical precedents or cling to outdated traditions. The history of the past, in his time, included monarchies, oppression, and rigid hierarchies, systems he sought to transcend through the creation of a democratic society. By contrast, the dreams of the future represented uncharted possibilities, a world of liberty, equality, and progress. Jefferson's preference for these dreams reveals his faith in human potential to innovate and improve. The word, like, adds a personal, almost joyful tone, suggesting that envisioning a brighter future is not just a duty but a source of inspiration. For Jefferson, who was not only a statesman but also an inventor, farmer, and scholar, the future was a canvas for bold ideas, from educational reforms to technological advancements. His words challenge us to see the past as a foundation, not a tether, and to focus our energy on shaping a world that aligns with our highest aspirations. The enduring power of this quote lies in its universal resonance. It speaks to anyone who has ever dared to dream beyond the constraints of the present, whether in personal growth, societal change, or global progress. The past, while rich with lessons, can sometimes trap us in regret, nostalgia, or fear of repeating old mistakes. Jefferson's words encourage us to release that burden and instead embrace the future as a realm of possibility. This mindset has fueled countless advancements, from the abolition of slavery to the digital revolution, showing that dreams of a better world can become reality when paired with action. The quote also carries a subtle call to resilience. By focusing on the future, we acknowledge that setbacks are not the end but a prelude to new beginnings. In today's fast-paced world, where challenges like climate change, inequality, and technological disruption loom large, Jefferson's optimism reminds us that the future is not fixed, it is ours to shape through creativity, collaboration, and courage. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, cultivate a forward-looking mindset. When faced with challenges or disappointments, don't linger on what went wrong. Ask yourself what you can create next. Set goals that excite you, whether it's learning a new skill, starting a project, or improving your community. Your dreams for the future will guide you past obstacles. Second, let the past inform, not define your path. Reflect on lessons from your experiences, but don't let old failures or successes limit your vision. If you've faced setbacks, use them as stepping stones to a bolder future. Third, dare to dream big. Jefferson's dreams helped birth a nation. Your dreams, no matter their scale, can transform your life or the lives of others. Write down your aspirations, perhaps a career change, a creative pursuit, or a cause you care about, and take one step toward them today. Fourth, act on your dreams. Jefferson didn't just imagine a better future. He worked to build it. Break your goals into small, actionable steps, and start now, even if the first move feels modest. Whether it's signing up for a course, volunteering, or sketching a business idea, action turns dreams into reality. Fifth, inspire others with your optimism. Share your vision with friends, family, or colleagues, and encourage them to pursue their own dreams. Your enthusiasm can spark a chain reaction, creating a community of forward thinkers. Finally, stay open to change. The future is unpredictable, but that's what makes it exciting. Embrace new technologies, ideas, or opportunities, even if they push you out of your comfort zone. By adapting, you ensure your dreams remain vibrant and relevant. Jefferson's quote is a clarion call to live with hope and purpose, to see the future as a landscape of opportunity rather than a shadow of the past. It challenges you to dream boldly, act decisively, and inspire others to join you in building a better world. As you navigate life, let these words fuel your ambition, reminding you that the dreams of tomorrow are yours to shape. By choosing the future over the past, you honor Jefferson's legacy and write your own story of progress, one hopeful step at a time. Quote 8. The glow of one warm thought is to me worth more than money. This evocative statement by Thomas Jefferson reveals a profound truth about the value of inner fulfillment over material wealth. Its importance lies in its timeless reminder that true richness comes from the heart and mind, not from possessions, inspiring us to seek meaning in a world often obsessed with financial gain. Jefferson's words, rooted in his reflective and philosophical nature, urge us to cherish the intangible joys that light up our lives and define our humanity. The quote's beauty lies in its poetic imagery and deep wisdom. The glow of one warm thought evokes a sense of inner radiance, a moment of inspiration, compassion, or hope that warms the soul. For Jefferson, a man who balanced the demands of statesmanship with a love for learning, nature, and human connection, such thoughts were treasures beyond compare. The phrase, "worth more than money," challenges the materialistic tendencies of his time and ours, asserting that no amount of wealth can rival the emotional and intellectual richness of a single meaningful idea or feeling. Jefferson's life, filled with pursuits like writing, gardening, and fostering community at Monticello, reflected this belief. He valued the spark of a new idea, the comfort of a kind gesture, or the joy of a shared moment with loved ones over fleeting financial gains. This perspective aligns with his broader philosophy that happiness and fulfillment stem from cultivating the mind and heart, not amassing riches. The quote's deeper meaning resonates across centuries, speaking to the human need for purpose and connection. A warm thought could be the satisfaction of helping a friend, the excitement of solving a problem, or the peace of appreciating a quiet moment in nature. These experiences, though intangible, leave a lasting imprint on our lives, unlike money, which can be spent or lost. Jefferson's words invite us to redefine wealth, recognizing that the moments that stir our emotions or ignite our creativity are what truly enrich us. In a modern context, where success is often measured by bank accounts or possessions, this quote is a powerful antidote, urging us to prioritize what brings genuine joy and meaning. It also reflects a universal truth: while money buys temporary comfort, only thoughts and feelings, love, hope, gratitude, create the glow that sustains us through life's highs and lows. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, seek out moments that spark warm thoughts. Pause to appreciate small joys, a sunset, a kind word, or a creative idea. These moments, though fleeting, are the true treasures that fill your life with meaning. Make time each day to reflect on what brings you happiness, whether it's a hobby, a conversation, or a quiet moment of gratitude. Second, prioritize relationships over material gain. Spend time with loved ones, listen to their stories, and share your own. The warmth of connection, whether a heartfelt talk or a shared laugh, is worth more than any paycheck. Third, cultivate your inner world. Read a book, explore a new idea, or journal your thoughts to nurture the glow of inspiration. These intellectual pursuits, like Jefferson's own love for learning, will enrich your perspective and bring lasting fulfillment. Fourth, practice generosity. A warm thought often comes from giving, whether it's your time, support, or kindness. Volunteer for a cause, help a neighbor, or offer encouragement to someone struggling. Your actions will create a glow not only for others but for yourself, proving that giving is its own reward. Fifth, resist the lure of materialism. When tempted to chase wealth or status, ask yourself, will this bring me lasting joy, or is it a fleeting thrill? Focus on what aligns with your values, like personal growth or community impact, rather than societal pressures. Sixth, share the glow with others. Inspire those around you by celebrating the simple joys that light up your life. Tell a friend about a book that moved you, share a moment of gratitude, or encourage someone to pursue their passions. Your enthusiasm will spread warmth, creating a ripple effect of positivity. Finally, let Jefferson's quote guide you to live with intention. In moments of stress or doubt, seek the glow of a warm thought. Recall a memory that uplifts you, dream of a goal that excites you, or perform a small act of kindness. These choices will ground you in what truly matters, helping you build a life rich in meaning. By valuing the intangible over the material, you honor Jefferson's wisdom and create a legacy of warmth that outshines any fortune. Let this quote inspire you to chase the glow of thoughts that make your heart sing, knowing that in those moments, you've found a wealth no money can buy. Quote 9. educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. This powerful declaration by Thomas Jefferson underscores the indispensable role of education in safeguarding freedom. Its importance lies in its visionary assertion that an informed populace is the backbone of a democratic society, a principle that remains vital today. Jefferson's words, rooted in his commitment to Enlightenment ideals, inspire us to champion knowledge as the cornerstone of liberty, empowering individuals to protect and nurture the freedoms they hold dear. Jefferson's quote reflects his profound belief that liberty thrives only when people are equipped with the tools of knowledge. As a founding father and advocate for public education, he understood that democracy depends on citizens who can think critically, question authority, and make informed decisions. The phrase, "educate and inform the whole mass of the people," is a radical call for universal education, a bold idea in an era when learning was often reserved for the elite. Jefferson's insistence on educating the whole mass emphasizes inclusivity, ensuring that every individual, regardless of status, wealth, or background, has access to knowledge. The second part, "they are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty," elevates the people as the ultimate guardians of freedom. To Jefferson, an educated populace is not just a benefit but a necessity, capable of resisting tyranny, holding leaders accountable, and sustaining the principles of self-governance. His establishment of the University of Virginia and his extensive personal library reflect his lifelong dedication to this ideal, showing that education was not an abstract concept but a practical tool for empowerment. The quote's enduring relevance lies in its universal truth: knowledge is power, and in a democracy it is the people's power that preserves liberty. An informed citizenry can discern truth from propaganda, challenge corruption, and participate meaningfully in governance. Conversely, ignorance leaves societies vulnerable to manipulation, oppression, and the erosion of rights. Jefferson's words resonate in every struggle for freedom, from historical movements against tyranny to modern battles against misinformation and inequality. They remind us that education is not just about personal growth but about collective strength, enabling communities to uphold justice and equality. In today's world, where access to information is both abundant and fraught with challenges, this quote urges us to seek reliable knowledge, think critically, and ensure that education remains a right, not a privilege. It is a call to action, charging individuals and societies to prioritize learning as the foundation of a free and thriving world. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, commit to lifelong learning. Seek out knowledge through books, courses, or conversations to sharpen your mind and stay informed about the world. Whether it's understanding current events or exploring history, your education strengthens your ability to protect liberty. Second, engage critically with information. In an age of misinformation, verify sources, question narratives, and seek diverse perspectives. Your discernment helps preserve truth, a vital component of freedom. Third, advocate for education in your community. Support initiatives that provide learning opportunities for all, such as tutoring programs, libraries, or scholarships. By ensuring others have access to knowledge, you strengthen the collective foundation of liberty. Fourth, participate actively in democracy. Jefferson's quote reminds you that an educated populace is liberty's guardian, so use your knowledge to vote thoughtfully, discuss issues with others, and hold leaders accountable. Your informed voice shapes a freer society. Fifth, share knowledge generously. Teach a skill, mentor someone, or start a discussion about a topic you're passionate about. Your efforts to inform others amplify the power of an educated community. Sixth, champion inclusivity in education. Stand against barriers that limit access to learning, whether based on income, race, or gender. By advocating for equal opportunities, you honor Jefferson's vision of educating the whole mass. Finally, let this quote inspire you to see education as an act of empowerment. When you learn, you're not just gaining skills, you're arming yourself to defend your rights and those of others. Embrace opportunities to grow, whether through formal studies or everyday experiences, and encourage those around you to do the same. By doing so, you contribute to a world where liberty is not just preserved but flourishes. Jefferson's words challenge you to recognize your role in this mission. As an informed individual, you are a vital thread in the fabric of freedom. Let this quote fuel your pursuit of knowledge, reminding you that every lesson learned, every truth uncovered, is a step toward a stronger, freer future for all. Quote 10. In matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock. This eloquent maxim by Thomas Jefferson offers a timeless guide for navigating life with both adaptability and unwavering conviction. Its importance lies in its practical wisdom, balancing flexibility in superficial matters with resolute commitment to core values, a principle that resonates in personal and societal contexts. Jefferson's words, drawn from his experience as a diplomat and statesman, inspire us to discern what is worth compromising and what demands steadfast resolve, empowering us to live authentically and purposefully. The quote's brilliance lies in its vivid metaphors and nuanced perspective. Swim with the current. In matters of style suggests a willingness to adapt to trends, customs, or social norms that are transient or inconsequential. Style, in this sense, encompasses fashion, etiquette, or cultural preferences, elements that shift with time and context. Jefferson, a man who navigated diverse roles from revolutionary to president, understood the value of flexibility in these areas to build rapport and function effectively in society. For instance, as a diplomat in France, he embraced local customs to foster goodwill, without compromising his ideals. Conversely, stand like a rock. In matters of principle refers to unwavering commitment to fundamental beliefs, truth, justice, liberty, or integrity, that define one's character and moral compass. Jefferson's own life exemplified this, as he championed democratic ideals and individual rights, even when they were unpopular or challenged. The quote thus offers a blueprint for discernment: be pliable where it fosters harmony, but immovable where your core values are at stake. The enduring relevance of this quote lies in its applicability to modern life, where pressures to conform or stand out are constant. In a world driven by social media trends, fleeting fads, and shifting cultural norms, Jefferson's advice to swim with the current in style encourages adaptability without sacrificing authenticity. It suggests that not every battle over taste or convention is worth fighting. Sometimes, going with the flow saves energy for more meaningful stands. Yet the call to stand like a rock in matters of principle is a powerful reminder to hold fast to what truly matters, whether it's honesty in a world of deceit or justice in the face of inequality. This balance is crucial in personal growth, professional life, and societal progress, as it allows individuals to navigate complexity without losing their moral grounding. Jefferson's words challenge us to define our non-negotiables while remaining open to change in areas that don't define our essence. What lessons can you draw from this quote to apply in your own life? First, identify your core principles. Reflect on the values, such as honesty, fairness, or compassion, that define you. Write them down and let them guide your decisions, ensuring you stand firm when they're tested. For example, if integrity is your rock, refuse to compromise it, even if it means facing criticism at work or in relationships. Second, embrace flexibility in matters of style. If a new trend, workplace norm, or social custom doesn't clash with your values, adapt to it. This might mean updating your wardrobe, learning new technology, or adjusting to a group's communication style to build connections. Your willingness to flow with the current will make you approachable and effective. Third, practice discernment. Before reacting to a situation, ask yourself, is this a matter of style or principle? If it's about style, like a disagreement over aesthetics, let it go. If it's about principle, like standing against unfair treatment, hold your ground with conviction. Fourth, model this balance for others. Show those around you, friends, family, or colleagues, how to adapt gracefully while staying true to what matters. Your example can inspire them to find their own equilibrium. Fifth, stay resilient when standing for your principles. Defending your values may invite pushback, but like a rock weathering a storm, your resolve will prove your strength. Draw inspiration from Jefferson's own courage in advocating for liberty despite opposition. Sixth, cultivate humility. Recognizing that not every issue requires a stand allows you to listen, learn, and grow. If you're too rigid in matters of style, you risk alienating others. If you're too flexible in matters of principle, you risk losing yourself. Find the middle path. Finally, let this quote inspire you to live intentionally. Each day, you face choices: when to adapt, when to resist. Make those choices consciously, aligning them with your values while staying open to life's ebb and flow. By doing so, you create a life that is both harmonious and principled, reflecting the wisdom Jefferson championed. Jefferson's words are a compass for navigating life's currents without drifting from your truth. They urge you to move with grace in fleeting matters and stand unyielding in what defines you, crafting a legacy of integrity and adaptability. As you face decisions, let this quote remind you to swim wisely and stand boldly, building a life that honors both the flow of the world and the rock of your convictions. Thomas Jefferson's words are more than historical artifacts. They are a call to action, a reminder of the values that shape a free and just society. His emphasis on liberty, education, and principled action challenges us to think critically and act boldly. As we reflect on these quotes, let's carry forward his vision of a world where equality and wisdom prevail. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content, and share this video to spread Jefferson's timeless wisdom. Together, let's keep the flame of liberty burning bright for future generations. Thank you for watching.